Hello and welcome to episode 14 of deValiante reads Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. This kinetic novel was part of Ichio's bundle for racial justice and equality. This kinetic novel also contains strong language, sexual themes, and deals with loss and grieving. If you're not in a headspace to handle these topics, please consider skipping this video. Now without further ado, let's get started. Let's see how many videos I have to splice together to make content for this channel. May as well. No one is waiting for me anymore, and yelling at Mariah is as good as a distraction as any. I climb in. My nose is instantly assaulted with the smell of rancid beer. And whiskey. And vodka. There might even be traces of skunk. I decide to breathe through my mouth. The couch and the cot are both empty. No lackeys to feed into Mariah's delusions as in sight.
Where are the other two?
Head in the depths of her fridge, Mariah only snorts.
Tess wanted to see some stupid Walk of Fame, so Joe took her.
Palm Springs has a Walk of Fame?
According to the squirt.
She leans back out of the fridge.
How old are you?
19. Why?
Close enough. Drink.
With a loose throw that I actually have to dive for, she tosses me a bottle. The print is in Spanish, carved into the thick glass just above the label. I try pronouncing it, but it comes out sounding depressingly American.
You should be worshipping me. That's the good stuff.
I'm ecstatic.
I think she's too far gone to notice the flatness of my voice. Even if she did, I doubt she'd care. With something resembling happiness on her face, she cradles half a dozen or so bottles to the couch.
You gonna drink all that? Haven't you had enough?
Go die. You stole my equipment and my treasure. I'm not letting you steal my 40 ounces to freedom.
I shrug and flop down beside her. Mariah drunkenly reaches for the remote, misses it twice, then switches off the music and hurls the remote across the room.
Ugh, finally, thank you. I hate ska.
Mariah snarls at me like a toothless piranha.
It's reggae, you uncultured brat!
She slumps back down.
This guy's okay too.
Uncultured? You were the one who wanted to blow up Shiprock.
It was a suggestion. Suggestion! I don't have nearly enough TNT for that.
The fact you even have it is what bothers me.
Whatever, at least I know what I listen to is good. I like whatever you're into.
Oh, I can assure you, what I listen to is better than ska.
Reggae!
Jazz fusion, new age, world music, all better than your circus noise.
You actually like that hippy-dippy crap? What Volkswagen did you fall out of?
The one that hit your mother when she was pregnant with you, apparently.
We both click our tongues. Without looking, she pops my cap with a bottle opener, then hers. Giving a half-assed clink of our bottles, we take a swig. The swampy drink trails down my throat, setting my chest on fire. My experience with alcohol is really limited. Gramps didn't keep a lot of booze around, and when he did, it was always mead or wine. I only snuck some out a few times for special dates.
Gotta say, you're a lot less bearable without the dits holding you on a leash.
Shut up!
She barely held the flame to the fuse, but that single word is enough to make something inside of me go off.
Don't you talk about her that way! She's a kinder, more caring person than you'll ever be!
Mariah scrunches her nose like my outburst didn't make any sense to her dumb, drunk face.
That's not a very high bar.
She's not wrong, but couldn't she have at least tried defending herself? I groan and let my blood simmer down, but not before spitting out one more shot of venom.
Whatever. It's not like you're any better. You're a mess without the other two keeping you in check.
Hey! Don't get any ideas. I'm the one keeping them in check. They'd be dead by now if it weren't for me.
Sure, Mariah. I pinch the bridge of my nose and shake my head with a short laugh. Whether or not I choose to accept that Mariah exists in my reality, she's at least something familiar. Comforting probably isn't the right word for it, but she's someone to talk to.
Why are you here anyway?
Who even knows? Joel mentioned something about a music orgy thing.
Music orgy? You mean the festival?
Yeah, that.
Huh. And you went along with it? I guess that makes sense. You guys are a thing, right?
Building up from a bunch of snorts, Mariah bursts out laughing.
Me and that slacker wouldn't be a thing if the planets collided, wiped out everything, formed a mega planet, and we had to repopulate.
Wow. Why do I get the feeling this exact scenario has been played out in her journal multiple times? Because it's very specific.
Besides, there's more important things to focus on. Or at least...
She looks at the drawer again, then glares at me.
there were.
I hide the temptation to laugh in her face and take another gulp.
So nothing, huh? You grow up with someone and don't feel the tiniest thing for them?
She takes another swig, but this time just gives the wall a dry, blank stare.
If he's still single in 10 years, maybe I'll marry him out of pity.
I bet she'd marry the treasure in a heartbeat, though. Probably do more than just marry it.
What about you and the Dips? Aren't you two going to the music orgy together?
Her eyes narrow.
I'll kill you if that's what you're using my treasure for, by the way.
I don't answer, looking at my now near empty bottle instead.
What? You two have a fight?
I mean, why else would I be here?
Something like that.
I bet it was because of the gold. No honor among thieves, I'll tell ya.
No, nothing like that. It's hard to explain.
Well, I don't really care, but go ahead and moan if you want. It's not any different than what you usually do.
I look at Mariah. She doesn't seem particularly interested in downing more beers than anything. She's a maniac. That has always been and still is abundantly clear. She probably would tear apart the entire Southwest if left unattended. Hell, maybe even the entire nation. She's no Joe. No way she could hold an actual conversation. No way she could accidentally offer some good advice. No way she feels any sympathy. Still, I feel like I can vent to her. Not trust her. Not after all the RV chases and games of blackjack, but vent. She doesn't care, but maybe that's what makes it so appealing. I stay silent and stare at the ceiling, mulling over everything that's happened, searching for the right words. Words I couldn't even give to Marina.
I said that I don't care! Not that I'm willing to wait all night so you can steal my time, too.
Just give me a minute. I'm not really used to this.
Taking a deep breath, I look past Mariah, unwilling to let her see my shame. The single shred of pride I have left snaps, and I let all the weakness come fumbling out.
I met Marina a little after my grandpa died. He was
My chest tightens.
my best friend. My parents didn't want me, but he did. He raised me in that motorhome. He didn't have to, but he took care of me anyway.
Mariah sips at her beer, listening in silence. No smarmy remarks or deluded rambling.
So when I was a kid, I decided I was going to take care of him too. Gratitude, you know? Gratitude for a lot of things. His love, his acceptance, the music.
I stifle a laugh.
God, the music. The goof could spout random trivia about the weirdest music, bands you've never even heard of. But I loved it. And I loved him. It sounds dumb. A little girl feeling responsible for some full-grown geezer. I didn't care, though. I wanted to prove how much he meant to me. And that's how it worked for the longest time. But then he got sick.
I funnel down the beer and reach for another one. Mariah shoves her hand in front of me and pops off the cap, right as the next cycle of heartbreak starts closing in. I whisk back the bottle and force it down. Soapy foam rushes to the top and spills over as I pull it back. Mariah only shrugs.
That festival? He was the one who bought those tickets. It was gonna be our trip. That didn't happen. I failed at my job, but I could at least take the trip for him and try to make up for it. Then I met Marina.
A smile slips onto my face. Despite everything, even just saying her name makes me feel cheerful.
She was really cute and needed a ride, not to mention oblivious. Maybe it was just instinct, but I wasn't gonna let someone so innocent fend for themselves in the desert. I didn't plan on sticking around for long, but when we found the first part of the treasure, I don't know. I told myself I was gonna stick with her because I had to pay off Gramps' hospital bills and funeral. But the truth is, I stuck with her because it felt like it was a second chance. I could do some good. Help and protect someone who really needed it. And the closer I got with Marina, the more I felt like she was my responsibility. But even more than that, when I was with her...
My voice cracks, trembling under the weight of my words.
I was happy. It was like Gramps was never even gone. Then I remembered he was, and I completely shut down. Marina tried comforting me, but I just took advantage of her.
I still don't understand how you did.
When I woke up, I realized that's what I'd been doing this entire time. I was never protecting her. I was just using her to cope with Gramps. So I bought her a ticket home. She yelled and cried, but I did it anyway. I didn't just fail Gramps. I made this trip about me, and I hurt Marina. I don't deserve to be happy, and I don't deserve her.
I hope Mariah slaps you. Soaking in the silence, I blink away an annoying watery speck in my eye and fight back a few sniffles.
You done?
Yeah.
Mariah polishes off the rest of her drink and slams it down, rattling the other empty bottles on the table. Smacking her lips, she stretches her neck. Each bone cracks one after the other, sounding off in a delayed trail. Then she turns to me and speaks.
You're a dumbass.
Thank you. I pause.
Excuse me?
You heard me!
Mariah launches herself at me. I wince as her breath streaks out. The smell was bad before, but now it's like she's rinsed her mouth with whiskey. I mean, she kind of did.
God, you piss me off!
A growl emerges from deep within her throat as she looks me over. Then, as if acting on simple instinctive desire, she delivers a stiff smack to the back of my head. For a split second, everything is a fuzzy white. The infuriating image of a snarling Mariah greets me as my vision fades back, partnered with an even more infuriating throbbing.
Ow! What the hell?
I mean, you deserve it, so I'm not...
Why are you hitting me? I just spilled my guts to your jerk ass!
Shut up! I'm talking now!
Mariah stumbles off the couch, gripping the table for support. Her face has darkened by several shades of red since I've gotten here.
Listen here, thief! Dead is dead is dead. Your dear old granddad ain't crying up in heaven because you decided to do some bride in the back of his RV.
Her words burn right to their fiery core. I can't believe I ever thought I could count on Mariah.
Where'd you even get off saying?
I said shut up! Get over your snooze fest of a sob story. You got the girl, and you got my treasure. But no! You can't be happy because of some stupid, phony sense of obligation! And that's another thing!
Her voice gets louder as her words get sloppier, slipping and sliding over each other. I couldn't get a word in even if I tried. All I can do is listen, stone-faced, as the lashings keep on coming.
Who the hell do you think you are? What gives you the right to be some self-righteous guardian? You don't look after people because you have to prove yourself. You do it because...
She stops and scratches her head. I lean in, my breath frozen by anticipation as she tries to decode her own logic.
Because you just do. Okay? I swear, that annoying complex of yours is gonna smother you and everyone else.
Mariah grabs another bottle and swings it straight down on the sharp corner of the table. The cap somersaults through the air. By the time it lands, she's already chugged most of it.
But I used her.
That's right. Obligations, second chances, complexes. None of that means anything, because it's all said and done. I used Marina to make myself happy.
You call that using? Give me a break.
Yeah, you've been using Joe and your sister for how long?
I use those slackers all the time. That's using. And you know what? Who cares? That did use you to find the treasure, didn't she? Hell, if anything, you probably don't use her enough. I'd feel like a real jackass if some dumbass were calling me all the time and all I could do was sit there. People use people all the time. That's what makes them family.
That's really depressing sentiment, but okay. Mariah takes one last swig of her beer, then with a glint of sadness in her eyes, stares into the empty bottle.
So if you're gonna hate yourself, find a reason that doesn't suck.
Her face smirks from red to sickly green. The bottle falls from her hands and onto the floor as she rocks side to side, like a sailor that's lost their sea legs.
Hey, you don't look so good.
It's probably not going to end very good. For a quick moment, Mariah's cheeks bloat out. Then, just as quickly, she swallows. That is disgusting.
I'm fine. Just need to drink it off.
I think you need to sleep it off. She wobbles back to the couch and collapses next to me. Neither of us speak. Mariah groans, holding her stomach as she feels around for the bottle opener. I look at a pile of empty bottles building up on the table.
What happened to not caring?
I don't. I just prefer my treasure not being in the filthy hands of an idiot.
Did I just get chewed out by Mariah? Even worse, did some of it actually make sense? Or is it just the booze? Unable to spare the energy to lean forward, she stretches her arm way out for another beer, but I catch it just in time and grab a hold of her hand.
You need to quit! You've had way too much!
Eat me!
She slaps my hand away and snacks 2 more beers, shoving one of them into my stomach.
You're an idiot, but whether or not you want to keep being one is up to you.
I don't know. I need to think about it.
Mariah rolls her eyes.
Dumbass.
And she's out. Nothing, she says, burns anymore. Now it only stings with the acidity of truth. Getting over it. Letting Marina in. Really letting her in. It's just not that easy. It's never been that easy. But if I don't... Putting my hand on my thigh, I squeeze the outline of the cassette. Mariah raises out her beer and grunts. Sighing, I raise up mine, and we clink them together.
Jerk-ass.
Massaging the drunk away, I nurse my head as it pounds in rhythm with my heartbeat. The table has become a stockpile of empty promises and broken dreams, foundationed beneath even emptier bottles. Mariah is still at my side, slumped over and passed out. She might be a super heavyweight, but I decided to stick around and keep an eye on her. Soon, Joe and Tess will be back, and they can take care of the rest. I watch the slight movements of her chest as she breathes in and out. Seeing her so quiet is eerie. It's hard to believe there's still a person underneath all of that yelling and obsessiveness. But there she is. People use other people all the time. That's what makes them family. Still a depressing sentiment. It sounds gross and awful because it is, but those words have been echoing inside me since she said them. I used Marina to cope. There's no denying that. But Mariah said that Marina used me to find the treasure. If that's true, then why don't I feel used? Why did I always feel genuinely wanted by her? She relied on me. Is that using? That's all I ever wanted her to feel like she could do. Her trust was the most important thing to me. But no matter how much I wanted it, I knew I didn't deserve it, because I felt like I was betraying Gramps and would just drag her down with me. What about her, though? Marina was furious when I left, but she wanted to understand. She wanted to help. I wanted her to rely on me, but maybe she wanted me to rely on her too? Ding, ding, ding! Reaching into my pocket, I pull out the cassette and hold it in the palm of my hand. The sight of the ribbon all torn and tangled doesn't choke me up or ignite a bitter explosion of anger like earlier. All it does is serve as a numbing reminder of all my regrets. Her wording was off, but Mariah was right. I never let myself rely on Marina. From the very start, I always treated her like a kid, and never as an equal. Ding, ding, ding. No wonder she got upset. She wanted to do as much for me as I was doing for her, but I would never let her in long enough for that to happen. Of course, she wouldn't say no if I made a move. It was the only opportunity she had. If I go back as I am now, things will never get better. I'll just keep treating Marina like a kid, never letting her in, and she'll just smile and bear it until she explodes, like earlier. I know what I have to do, and yet it feels more like a betrayal than anything else I've done for this. But if I don't do it, then I can never truly hope to do right by Marina. I stagger to my feet. Turning around, I take one last look at Mariah before deciding to take off her bandana and lay her out on her side.
In another life, maybe you would be my type.
Then I walk to the door, take a breath, and step outside. The night sky is deep and clear, embedded with rich blue draped behind the glow of constellations. Its light is all that guides me as I sledge my way through the thickness of the sand, wandering from Mariah's RV to the destination of nowhere. Finally, I've gone far enough where the haze of the city lights can't be seen and where the distance of the motorhome can't be gauged. I am alone. For the first time, I am truly alone. Free from the treasure, free from the festival, free from the responsibility, free from even Marina. Sitting down, I sink into the sand and look at the stars.
Remember that time in Wyoming, when we camped out on the Great Plains? The whole sleeping under the stars thing seemed like the coolest idea ever to little me. You were so excited to teach me about the constellations. Didn't matter that you sucked at astronomy, you just kept mislabeling them. I made sure to read up on them later, by the way. That was the Big Dipper, not Hal's guitar. But that's okay. I still got a kick out of it. Besides, that's not the type of thing I expected to learn from you anyway. What I really remember from that trip was the s'mores. Pretty sure you only liked them burned because you were so old. Really stuck with me, though. Can't have s'mores any other way now. I think I may have converted someone else to the burn side, too. She has a huge sweet tooth, though, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Still, it made me really happy when she said she liked it.
I stare down and pet the cassette, feeling my thumbs over its holes and brown blotches and stains.
I think you'd like her a lot. She's a sweetheart. Always cheery and nice, even when she really shouldn't. Don't know how she does it, but she can somehow deal with me and my moods. This is her first time ever leaving home, and it shows. I worry about her a lot. Kinda like how I worried about you. Kinda like how I still do.
A tear drips onto the cassette. I didn't even notice it trail down my cheek, or the rest.
Maybe I got attached too easily and really did use her. But I don't want to leave. I love her so much. And I want to prove I'm worth loving too. Would you hate me? Would I be letting you down if I decided to be happy instead?
I gaze back at the sky through my blurry vision. The stars don't answer back. They just keep twinkling. I lower my head. The cassette feels like lifeless, dead weight in my palm. My breath shakes and the next words slip out in a whimper.
I'm sorry.
I dig my fingers into the ground, scraping away the sand as sharp grains nudge between my nails. A shallow hole forms, a pile of dirt laying next to it. I can barely stomach looking at the cassette as I lay it down in its own grave. I glance away as I slide the dirt back over the hole. When I look back, a corner of it still sticks out, only partially buried. It's reaching out, grasping for me. I cover my eyes and pinch away the tears. It's still there. It will always be there. But now I don't have to acknowledge it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining me for episode 14 of Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. Episode 15 will be out shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment letting me know what you like down below. Please no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments and the people who make them. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.